For the first lesson or for the first activities, which is the virtual world. This activity gonna teach a student algorithm and coding through developing a VR application. The VR application is designed using HatchXR platform, which is allows students to use block programming to design virtual reality and augmented reality games. In this activities, we're gonna teach the student how to build VR piano. The lessons or the demo gonna be divided in two parts. Part one, it's me explaining to the instructor what exactly they need to do in this task, and then part two, how they should teach the lessons to the students and some tips. So the first thing, they need to go to teacher.hatchxr.com, click login. There is already an account and a password associated with this website, which is teacher3 for the account, KSU at 2023 as a password. I'm going to take you through a demo to see what exactly is there. And then we will go to number 3, which is number 3, how you should teach what you learned from me now. Okay, so let's open. Okay, so let's open a website that's as teachers.hatchxr.com. Okay, let me log out. So this is the website. When you click login, it will bring you here. You're going to put the user, and then you're going to put the password and click login. It will automatically bring you to the home page where the class or the hour of code already assigned to this teacher under Kansas State University. So when you click on the course, you will see several features or options you're allowed to control. You don't really need to do anything here. I'm just going to give you a brief introduction of what exactly is this platform or this website. So a student mean the student's accounts that are created under this course. User need a user and a password to be able to access the classroom. If you notice here, the username is XR underscore, and then there is an ID, and the ID are incremental here. For the password, all the passwords are identical, which is HatchXR underscore 2023. When we go to the teaching lesson, I have a PowerPoint slides that include this information. And then when you go to manage a curriculum, you will see lessons that already designed and developed to teach VR. The one we're gonna do is number 5, which is VR piano. There are 3 templates or 3 documents are provided here. The lesson plan, which is explaining all the objectives, what exactly you're going to teach, and in steps how you're going to teach them. I'm not following this 100% because we have like a time limit. I don't want to exceed the 20 minutes for this event, 20 to 30 minutes. And then for the template, they have an empty template that has all the necessary object already developed and designed where the user or the student, they can take it and can start modify and add code to it. Also, there is the finished project, which is like the key solution where it has all the answers, all the code, everything is already developed and designed. So when we click on view template, or when we click, let's go with the key answer. When we click on a view output, because I already opened that before, that's why we see the dialogue, but usually this dialogue will not appear to you. You can see here, we already have all the code where we're gonna use this code. We're gonna let the student go through step by step to create their project. There is 3 sections here: design, code, and play. In play, the student can play and test any addition or code or modification that's happened in the design and the code section. They can play it and test it within the computers, or they can just publish it where click scan, it will generate a QR code. They can scan that using their phone or any device to try their code. Now going back in the code section, we have 3 stages. We have the menu, and we have the stage where we do and drag and drop the codes. And here where we can run and test our code to see the output. To test the code, of course, we need to click on the green flag. For the code, everything would be drag and drop. The first section is some general global codes where they capture all the, as an example for the events, they capture all the possible events. For logic, it has all the math and the operation. For objects, you can create object variables, you can create variables, everything like in a general use would be here. And then the second part will include any 3D object that's been added to the stage in the design. Let's go now to the design. You will see here there's already some shapes that's been added to this environment where the children, they will need to code each of those shapes. So, and you can see here, every time we get, when you add a 3D object to the environment, it's gonna be appeared here. Also, there is the camera where you can control the camera, you can control the cursor, you can control the lights, the full environments, the colors, and everything related to design. I'm gonna go through now a little bit more details. So this is the design. The first part of the lesson would be we're gonna teach the children how to navigate or how to use the keyboard and the mouse to move around and change the view. I don't expect the student to have a good skills in controlling or holding the keyboard. So you're gonna explain for the student that to be able to navigate here, they can use the keyboard, use WSAD, which is forward, back, right, left. This is forward, back, right, and left. In addition, if they want to change the view of the screen, they need to keep holding the left click, and then they can move the mouse left and right, and this is how they can change the view. If they will click together, the W, and with changing the view, they can control the full view. You're gonna give the students some time to practice and try that. And then you will start the second part of the lesson where you're gonna ask the student to add a 3D object. To do so, the student need to click the add 3D object. When they click that, under the poly, they have a different creatures and animals. Let's assume I wanna add the goat, because goats are cute. When you click on the goat will start appearing in the environment. If you can see, the goat's here in the back. Okay, I don't want the goat to be the back. I want the goat to be next to the object here. So to do so, we need to move this object. So we have here some 3 features that we can use to control the object. When I click on the object, you will find an X and Y and Z coordinators where we can drag using those arrows to move the 3D object. So I want to bring that here. You can see now half of the goats is still under the ground. So I'm going to pull it a little bit up. And I'm going to bring it here a little bit. Here, I want to change the size. So I will click on scale. And scale, I want my goat to be bigger. Okay. And then my goat's still under the ground. So I want my goat to stand on the ground. And then there is rotate. I want my goat to face the camera. Okay, now I have my cute little goat. And then in the goat, I want to also code my cute little goat. So to do so, first we need to enable the detect cursor events. So when the cursor will touch the goat, something should happen. Like how we gonna code it? depend on how we're going to code it. Okay, so now we're done from the design. If they want to see, they can click play, and then they can check their object, whether it's their animal, whether it's correct. Okay, and now let's go to the coding section. In the coding section, this is the block programming where you can drag and drop elements here. I'm going to show you also the scripts, which is the text. So we created a variable, and then we have a function. No, technically, I'm not going to implement that. It's going to be a simpler version. So ignore this part. So we're going to create a variable, which is shape. The shape is a list where it's going to include all the 3D objects. And then if events happen, which is when you click and you enter the cursor, hover over the object, what's going to happen? We are trying to now change the size of the object to scale it a little bit up. So this can happen by using the collide object, create a temporary shape, and then we scale that a little up by increasing the X and Y, the Z, and then going through the if statement. So in the if statement, if it's this object, we're going to make this sound. If it's this object, we're making this sound, and so on for all of them. And then when we move the cursor away from the object, we want to take the shape back to the original size. So we're going to scale it down by -0.1. This is the main code that you're going to teach. Through this code, we're going to teach them what is variable, what is list, and what is if condition in a very basic level. Okay, going back now to the block. So I'm going to go through fast coding instead of just explain it from here. How you should teach this lesson. So now let's go back to the PowerPoint slides that I included here. Okay, after clicking on this PowerPoint slides, it's going to take you to this PowerPoint, which is I designed so you can use it to teach the lesson. Feel free to modify anything within this PowerPoint slides. Okay, you're going to start the lesson by playing this video. This video explains what exactly is HatchXR. And then while playing this video, you're going to wait for parents and family to come and take their spots within the lab. And then there would be another video here. I will now add also the page where it's explained what is the difference between VR and HR, between virtual reality, augmented reality, and virtual world. You just need to click play for them to see the video. And then you're going to start the lesson by letting the parents and the student scan this QR code to test the project in advance so they can know what exactly they're going to do. And then the real part going to start, which is you're going to, because we're going to do that inside the lab, and they are not KSU students, so they don't really have an account to use the laptop. That's why we have those temporary accounts where they can use them to access the PCs inside the lab. The user would be CIS STEM with a number. It could be 1, 2, 3, 4 till 60. And then the password is the same for all the accounts, which is uppercase K and then $UST3M23. When all of the parents will successfully being able to access, here where the instructors and the helper, they need to go around to make sure everyone were able to access the PC. After making sure that everyone can have an access, you're going to start giving them step-by-step demonstration to show them what they need to do, and they're going to follow. So they need to go. So this is first, you're going to explain in words that you're going to need to go to kids.hatch.xr.com. You're going to need to make sure all the students, they wrote this address before even moving into the steps. And then you're going to tell them you're going to need to go to write user and the password after, of course, clicking login. The user would be XR_01. And each laptop will have its own code. So if they are sitting in one, it's going to be 01. If they are sitting in two, it's going to be 02, 03, and so on. The password is the same for all the users for accessing the Kids Hatch XR. And then when they click login, it will take them to the classroom. And then it will take them to the main page. They need to click on the classroom, and then they need to click view classroom. When they do that, they will be able to see the lesson where everything here is locked beside the VR piano. They need to click view template. And then you're going to start explaining to them. There's three stages here, or three tabs in the platform: design, code, and play. And you're going to start explaining what's the difference, similar to what I explained before. And then you're going to ask them to start clicking on play to start to play it. At the same time, you're going to explain that for them to be able to play, those are the keyboards tabs that they need to click, and how they can hold the mouse. And then you're going to let them explore. You're going to ask them to change the camera view to the left, to the right, to the top, to the bottom. Just let them explore. And you need to tell them they should not touch any objects or move the object around. Just move around the view, not the object itself. And then they teach them how they can publish, similar how I explained before. And then when you take them through the design, you're going to ask them to add the goat, and then change the scale of the goat, rotate the goat, and then you're going to take them to the coding. Okay, how you going to teach? I would recommend having two views, okay, or open two browsers. One of them are Chrome, one of them are Edges, or any two different browser. One of them you should access it as a teacher, okay, and then here I'm using my teacher account. And then open another tab, okay, where here you're gonna access it as a student. When you access it as a student, because I'm already logged in here, I always use the account that has the 0. And let me go back here. So I always use the XR_00 account for demonstration. And I let the student start taking the account from 1. Okay, going back here, I can put the account, and then password would be hatch XR at 2023. And then this is gonna take you to the main page where they're gonna click, and you're gonna tell them click classroom, and you're gonna let them follow you. So you're gonna open two tabs. This tab, browser, which is like in my case it's Edge, and the projector side, where student can only see this view. At the same time, on your laptop, you will open the Chrome or any other browser you prefer, so you can see the full code, so you can focus on explaining, just in case if you forget like a line or something. So this is going to make it easier to focus on the teaching, not on the whether the code is correct or not. And then you will demonstrate here. After you're gonna ask the student, so this view gonna be in the projector side, this view gonna be on the laptop side. You're gonna tell them click view, and then you're gonna go to them and tell them go 5, click view template. And then you will start explaining each part of them, which is the design, the code, and the publish or the play. And now let's go for the coding part. First, you're gonna start by asking them to create uh, let me make it full screen. To create a variable. Let's call this variable shapes. So I did that by clicking on create a variable here. Okay, and now you will see variables are created here. So now I'm going to start assigning value to this shapes, which is like shapes equal. So you're going to tell the student variables is used in computer to store some value because computer always forgot. So for the computer to remember, we need to make a space inside the computer memory so we can put a name. So we're going to tell, hey, computer, remember, the name is here. It's called shape. So, and now also inside these shapes, we want to put all the objects, all the 5 or all the 8 objects here, all the shapes, we want to add them inside here. So because we have a lot of shapes, we want them to be organized and ordered. Like when you go shopping, you need to have a list to have all the items within the list. That's why there is also in computer science something called list. So when you go here and you click on the list, you will find create a list. So you're going to drag that and you're going to put that in the stage. Okay, but we need also to assign that to the variable. So to say this variable will include this list. So you're gonna drag this the variable here. This is wrong. So it's list, create a list with is this one. So now we have our shapes. Our shape will have the list. Okay, the list will have all the shapes that we created in the design. The cylinder, the box, the sphere, all of them. They need to be ordered in a or sorted in a certain order. So we're gonna start by using an object that's considered to be the 3D model. So the first one would be the torus. So when you click on it, you will drag it and you will put it here. And then the second one is, well, it's really hard to pronounce that, but it's going to be this one. The third one is the sphere. Okay, so we run out of space. So what should we do? So we should add more. So when we click here, we can add more items. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So now we have them here. Then box. So I go back and I look at the order in my desktop view in my Chrome. So and I'm following the order. And then after box, it's the one weird name. I know it's in Arabic, it's called makhrut. Okay. And then the cylinder. And then the okay. And then the last one is the torus knot. Okay. So now I have them all. What I need to do next is I need to detect the action, which in other word, like if I touch it. So we need to explain to the student that like we need something to happen so the computer can understand. So we want to tell the computer, if you touch it, we want it to make sound. So if we want to do that, you're gonna go to the cursor. Okay, We need to go to the cursor, which is in the second menu on your camera. When you click on it, you're gonna go to the action or the event when we enter the object and we touch the shapes. So go here to variable, click shapes and add it here. Okay, when we touch the shapes, what we want to do, we want the size to be bigger. So we want this to happen for any shape. So we have this function that can help us to do the part of touching any shapes. So let's call this temp, okay? And then I want to change the size of the object. If I'm going to change the size of object, I'm going to object. And then when I go to object, I want to change it by it's not number because it's size. So I want to change the scale. So I'll drag this one here. I want to change temp, which is the same variable here, X by 1. You can right click and duplicate. Y, duplicate, Z. Okay, so let's test that. Reload. Click the green flag. Look, it's getting bigger. That's mean this code is working correctly. Okay, let's go back. Okay, now it's getting bigger, but this time we want, if we leave from the object, the cursor leaves from the object, in another word, if you're touching it with your finger, you need to explain that for the student. If you touch it in your finger and now you're moving your finger, how to do that? You're gonna come here, you're gonna click duplicate. There is a code here. They say when you leave. So here when you touch and here when you leave. When we leave, we want to put it back. So we need to add minus. Minus is mean we are removing the same size that we added, the same scaling we added. Now we remove that. Okay, let's test the code. Okay, big and small, big and small. Perfect. If we did that, we're in the right spot of in the right progress. Now, I want when I touch any or any specific object, some sound play depend on the object. So here where you're gonna start explaining to them here where you're gonna need to use some coding, which functionality which is called if statement. Like if a statement will work if you want it very, 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 very specific. Like it's like you're telling your mom, I'm not gonna eat unless there is pancake on the table. So if there is a pancake on the table, you're gonna eat. So it's something very specific. So here, if we are touching this object or this shape, we're gonna make a certain sound. So we're gonna need to go to the logic, and then we're gonna drag if logic. And because we are handling logic, there is this blue logic, what we call them logic operator. We're gonna drag them and put them here. And then we're gonna go to the object. We're gonna drag the temp value we created here. And then we're gonna go and say, if it's my first object, I wanna make a sound. So there is a category here for the sounds where you can make some notes. You can play some notes. Yeah. And here you're gonna change that to C4. Of course, I'm always go back and refer to that Chrome key answer to remember those. So C4. So, okay, I did the first one. Now I'm gonna just duplicate that, change this one to the second one, which is like the one start with D. And so on. You're gonna keep doing that until the end. When you do them, you're gonna ask the student to play or try their code. They're supposed to have all this syntax, except the last one. Like we don't really need to change color. Okay, so they need to add each one of those. When they add them, they can click duplicate to speed up the process. And then they can start playing it. When they finish from the coding and they finish from playing with their VR application, you can go around and start giving them a stamp, even if they're not done. Of course, if they need help, you can put the full solution on the screen like this. So their parents, they can help them. Of course, we don't really need this one. So their parent, they can help them into coding the object. And also you can go around and start like helping them in their code, making sure they have like the right variable here, the right numbers, the right scaling. Is similar to like 115 where you're going to go around and check the code. And you're going to help them. When they're done, you're going to give them the stab. It's like you're giving them the grade. And this is what's the VR lessons and this is what the VR lesson is teaching. And now we're going to go and move to the second lesson.